Vice President Kyleman?
Here.
President Innocenti?
Here.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular Board of Education and executive closed meetings of February 11th, 2026?
So moved, Kyleman.
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Vice President Kyleman?
Aye.
Mrs. Alvarez?
Aye.
Mrs. Grant?
Abstain.
Mr. LaRocco? President Innocenti?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now we will go on to the Springfield highlights.
Let's try that again. Welcome, everyone. Tonight we would like to recognize Springfield School, a couple of our student leadership groups. These two incredible groups of students have demonstrated leadership, citizenship, and dedication to the community of Springfield School. The two groups that we have, the first one, our community ambassadors, is aimed at creating events to help build community. These students excel in providing support to the staff, students, and beyond with a smile on their faces each and every day. Some of their work this year includes Cross-Age Buddies, helping out at Cheer Fest, facilitating the Fresh Fruits and Vegetables program, and even helping to host Midlothian's Chamber of Commerce meeting. Our second group, student council members, they are aimed at creating fun and exciting events for students within Springfield School. These students serve as not only leaders, but as role models for all Springfield students at the entire school. The events student council has hosted include Hot Cocoa with Buddies, Candygrams, and of course, Charger Fridays. I would like to thank the sponsors as well for these two groups. Without their dedication, mentorship, and leadership, none of this would be possible. They prove day in and day out what it means to lead by example. If I could please have the leaders for Student Council and our community ambassadors stand up. Mrs. Maddie Cohn, Mrs. Jen Kowalczyk, Ms. Mia Moustakis, and Ms. Sarah Murphy. Sponsors, if you could head to the front and join Mrs. Evans. Students, you will be called up to receive a certificate for your dedication and service to the community of Springfield School. Please stay for a group picture at the end. The future is bright with leaders like these students. Again, students, when you hear your name, please come on up. You will receive your certificate or certificates if you are in both. And then we do ask that you stay up. Feel free to cheer for each and every student. I will make sure to wait until it is nice and quiet. That way we can continue on, but each student does deserve to hear their name and to be cheered on. First up we have, and if a student is not here, please cheer them on after us. All right, first up we have Alexa Anguiano for our community ambassador. Brittany Bautista, our community ambassador. Aliana Blas, our community ambassadors and student council. Taylor Brookhouse, student council. Samantha Castro, our community ambassadors. America Chavez, our community ambassadors. Jack Decker, our community ambassadors. Brooklyn Donnelly, student council. Makai Ewing, our community ambassadors and student council. Jackson Fisher, our community ambassadors. Jace Flores, our community ambassadors. Cassandra Gomez Ramirez, student council. Mikhail Hampton, our community ambassador. Not to be be outdone by the next Hampton, but Kyla Hampton, our community ambassador. Chase Craple, our community ambassadors and student council. Andres Lopez, student council. Dominic Matos, our community ambassadors and student council. Madison Moncrief, student council. Giovanna Montes de Oca, student council and our community ambassadors. Melissa Perez, student council. Mia Pinto, student council. Ava Porter, our community ambassadors. Janae Richard, our community ambassador. Martha Salgado, student council. I don't know if you're seeing the trend, but we have a lot of leaders at Springfield School. Jackson Silva, student council. Anna Marie Shute, our community ambassadors. Mia Torres, our community ambassadors. Amelia Wallenius, our community ambassadors and student council. Sophia Wilson, our community ambassadors. And last but not least, Deanna Wells, student council. Can we please give one more big round of applause to all our community leaders? Students, if you don't mind, if we can get some in front, let's try and get a little bit closer to the middle so we can get a nice picture with everyone in there, with the sponsors there as well. Squeeze in, we'll get a good picture.
Everyone ready? Okay. Perfect.
Congratulations. Springfield families, you are more than welcome to stick around if you would like. However, you do not have to. The student recognition component, we do lead off with that at each of the board meetings. So if you would like, you are more than welcome to head out. If you would like to stay, you're more than welcome to stay as well. So thank you very much, and one more round of applause for our Springfield leaders.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to all of our administrators and our teachers who have taken on additional duties within the past 3 years to provide all these additional opportunities for kids, especially in leadership positions. So again, kudos to you for all you students who have been doing amazing work. Keep it up. Thank you. Good evening and welcome. As the board president, I want to acknowledge the release of the prior superintendent's contract as associate superintendent and understand there are many questions which surround it. While the total amount was $288,500, it's important to understand the source of those funds. The contract was largely funded by the redemption of a long-term investment, a whole life insurance policy, earmarked for the previous superintendent. Because this investment performed well and exceeded $277,000 over almost 18 years, the district was able to utilize
utilize these pre-allocated funds to cover nearly the entire contract. By giving him a contract as associate superintendent, it allowed us to keep a veteran mentor on hand for a smooth transition. But because of the successful investment, the actual impact on our current budget was very small. The post-retirement payouts were strategically planned to be paid after retirement so as not to accrue additional costs from TRS, and were unused sick days, which is a common practice. The allowance travel plus payment included a pass-through refund from our third-party administrator for a 2023 over-contribution by the previous superintendent. Because these were the previous superintendent's personal funds, we issued a check to return his money to him. Thank you.
Good evening. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Superintendent Dr. Angela Fry. I want to start out by being very direct with you. My goal tonight is to ensure we are all operating from the same information regarding where MSD stands, looking at how we got here, where we are today, and where we are headed together. I know that when words like restructuring or reductions circulate, it creates anxiety. I feel that too. That is why I want to walk you through the data and the why behind the difficult decisions we are facing. To understand our current budget, we have to look back. For a long time, our district struggled because state funds were prorated, which is just another way of saying we didn't get what we were promised. When the state passed evidence-based funding, or EBF, we finally saw a much-needed increase in revenue, beginning in fiscal year 19. We didn't sit on that money, but we put it to work and invested it immediately. We tackled long overdue building repairs and maintenance, launched the social emotional learning program to support student well-being, and most importantly, we invested in people. We invested in people by hiring additional staff, including literacy interventionists, coaches, teachers, both elementary and junior high, another band director, full-time substitutes, social workers, a speech pathologist, administrators, a secretary, and custodians. We were also able to increase salaries for custodians, which was much needed and overdue. In March of 2020, while the world halted, our responsibilities and our expenditures exploded. We went one-to-one with Chromebooks overnight. We purchased many digital software programs to support virtual learning and bought a massive volume of personal protective equipment, dividers, and cleaning equipment and supplies. The federal government provided elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds, also known as ESSER funds, to help us. But it's important to remember this. They were emergency funds, a bridge, not a permanent floor. Round one kept us afloat with technology and safety. Round two fixed aging HVAC systems for cleaner air. Round three focused 20% specifically on addressing learning loss, which we used to hire 3 math interventionists and a technology coach. By the end of 2024, those ESSER funds were spent. Now, the bridge is ended. We must now stand on our own with our normal allocations of federal, state, and local revenue. Unfortunately, while federal funding was expiring, a second trend developed: decreased enrollment, which created the perfect storm. Since 2018, 28 students. However, our total number of employees increased by 20%, or 41 employees. Junior high enrollment alone was responsible for 43% of the total decrease, dropping by nearly 100 students, and leading to an average class size of 17 students. Some junior high classes even have as little as 9 to 12 students. Though that may be desirable, from a fiscal standpoint, it's not realistic nor sustainable. And that is the very reason for having to move to a reduced sections at junior high. We are currently staffed for a student population we no longer have in our buildings. We will continue to work towards feasible class sizes that average closer to the mid-20s, which is very common. In fact, junior high classes in the area average 25. We will prioritize keeping our kindergarten and first grade classes smaller, which research supports. Please understand, we are not alone in this, as many school districts across the state and country will be experiencing the same situations. I also would like to clear up some misinformation regarding staffing. We began conversations with teachers about moving into different positions next year, earlier than ever, because we wanted to give them the respective time to process and explore other opportunities if they chose. To be clear, these are not teachers we fired or non-renewed. Every single one of these educators who were told they were changing positions were still going to have jobs in the district next year. Specifically, speaking of social studies, we did not fire any social studies teachers. One social studies teacher is moving grades, and another is switching buildings. We are not removing social studies classes. We recognize the importance and significance of social studies. School remaining in session on Veterans Day to purposefully teach our students about it is a prime example of our dedication to ensuring students are learning about our past. We are simply returning to a model we used successfully for 8 of the last 12 years, where teachers cover more than one content area based on need and enrollment. We understand this is not preferred, but it is necessary. We cannot have class sizes of 9, 14, or even 17 in junior high any longer, especially with many elementary class sizes much larger. Due to the necessity to increase junior high class sizes, we must reduce the number of junior high teachers, which may result in 3 non-tenured teachers, first and second year, social studies teachers, to be honorably dismissed. Planning ahead, we informally notified those teachers in February about potential reductions. While formal notice is not required until April, we chose to share this information early to give staff ample time to make decisions and seek other employment opportunities. To reach stability, we must align our spending with our actual revenue. We are looking at all aspects of our operations. Actions already underway include, but are not limited to, sharing personnel costs with other entities, renegotiating vendor contracts, partnering with the Village and Park District for infrastructure grants, reducing optional professional development, deferring non-emergency capital projects, enrolling in the government solar energy program, taking advantage of ComEd incentive program. However, the reality is this: 80% of our budget of this size without reviewing staffing. We are reducing staff across the board. Please understand though, not all reductions will occur at the same time, but rather are strategically based on known information, including natural attrition through retirement and resignations. Regarding administrator salaries, they reflect the high level of experience our team brings to the table, which is in line with area districts. Having a veteran administrative team is a deliberate choice. The knowledge base allows us to operate more effectively and efficiently. This seniority provides stability and mentorship to our staff, especially our newer teachers. It also ensures the district continues to operate smoothly. So what does this mean for our students? High quality instruction remains the priority. Students will still have certified teachers. Junior high class sizes will increase to be more in line with our elementary classes at 23.4 and neighboring district junior highs at 25. Beginning next year, math, science, and literacy teachers will teach a section of social studies. They will follow the same social studies curriculum they are using now to be sure to meet standards and ensure all students are taught the same content. As always, teachers will supplement with exploration and experiential learning. We have complete confidence in them. As I mentioned previously, we know this model works as we have successfully implemented it and used it in the past for many years. We also will be making some junior high improvements. Band will now be a scheduled class based on feedback from both teachers and students. No more missing core instruction. Additionally, it will reduce transportation costs. Spanish will replace music as a special, meaning students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade get language exposure, not just 8th grade. This restructuring was done for a variety of reasons. We will be sharing more details closer to the end of the school year. This process is like a massive puzzle with 1,000 moving pieces. If one piece moves, the entire picture changes. That is why we wait to share details, not to be secretive, but to provide clarity rather than unnecessary anxiety. We understand the frustration of uncertainty. This is a difficult time for public education. Across the entire country, we are not alone. Taking away resources is never a goal, but we no longer have the choice to ignore the math. We are doing our best to maximize the resources that we are able to afford long term. We must work together. Our goal is a balanced budget that preserves rigor and provides an exceptional experience for every child in MSD 143. Thank you for your time, your patience, and your dedication to our students.
Good evening. My name is Justin Petrarca. I am the attorney to the Board of Education. I spent most of my How about now? Sorry, let me go back. This district, like every other district in the state, has a board policy that governs the public comment section of each of its meetings. It's required by law. The policy has very few requirements. One is that you stand, we're asking you to take your position in the mic in the middle of the gym and identify yourself. You are, because this is only a small part of a regular business meeting and the board has to conduct its regular business, the total amount of time generally designated for public comment is 30 minutes. We ask individuals to speak no more than 5 minutes in their individual capacity. We have the right, if there are a number of people who want to be heard, to expand that by majority vote of the board, we would do that. Right now, we have 9 or 10 people signed up, so I don't think we're going to need to really extend the time. 5 minutes is a long time if you get up to speak. We ask that you always, as always, be respectful and courteous in your public comments. Hopefully we don't have to manage problems in that area. We want to exhibit for the children we recognize tonight the behavior that we want them to exhibit as they become adults. I will also tell you that if you are part of a group that has a number of people who want to speak or say the same thing, it might be fair to everybody if you just pick a spokesperson to speak on behalf of the group. Otherwise, if you want to speak in your own right, that's fine too. We'll just monitor the time. I have the ability on my phone to time the public comments. If you're coming up on your 5-minute limit, I'll ask you to please begin to wrap up your comments and we'll move from there. And if you have any questions, that's fine. I do want to be clear. It's public comment, it's not public dialogue. The board will not be responding. The board will not be answering questions. If there are questions, those will be referred to the appropriate individual to provide an answer at a later date. Any questions from anybody? Madam President, who's our first commenter?
The board would like to call Rachel Emer to the microphone.
Testing. Thank you. In regards to the state of the district and the information presented tonight, the union is continuing to discern through this information. As president of the teachers union, any educator that is speaking tonight is speaking as an individual, not as a representative of the union. Thank you very much.
Board would like to call Diana Vanderweel up to the microphone.
Good evening. Better? Good evening. My name is Diana Vanderweel, and I'm the wife of Mr. Ryan Vanderweel, 7th grade social studies teacher at Central Park. Ryan and I first met in high school during a freshman world history class. When I saw him walk into that classroom in pajama pants and Asics shoes, I was already in love. He didn't notice me at all until senior year, but it all worked out in the end. Even as a freshman, everyone could tell Ryan was fully engaged in learning about history. He was the one you wanted in your group to do group projects with because he would go above and beyond. As a student, his eyes would light up when speaking about historic or current events. Years later, Ryan still has that light in his eyes. When we go on road trips, Ryan always includes in the itinerary to stop at a historic landmark and share tidbits on historical documents. For example, one time he went on a tangent about the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Did you know that the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 is partly the reason that we have public education today? Ryan Vanderweel and Mallory Pystick encouraged their students to learn and realize that they too can make a difference. They both became Field Museum ambassadors, dedicating weekends of their time to give their students new methods of learning. They bring historic artifacts for hands-on activities, engaging guest speakers, and so much more. Using a textbook and a workbook as a guide is nothing in comparison to a student having a teacher that is animated and excited about teaching. not only teaching, enhancing their teaching. If this was the case, we would all have learned 12 languages by now. Speaking of which, I'm happy that Spanish will now be taught all year round as it was not before. In a community where a third of the residents are Hispanic, this subject should be valued. Ser bilingüe es una gran ventaja que me ha abierto muchas puertas durante mi vida. However, music education shouldn't be treated like the redheaded stepchild of this district. Sorry, Ryan and Mallory. As a nurse, we are taught to keep calm, cool, and collected during life and death situations, and this mindset carries into my everyday life. However, the way this entire situation has been handled has not only made us frustrated and angry, we are also very disappointed and disturbed. You did say you wanted to do this with less anxiety, but unfortunately it's caused more anxiety to not only us, to students, and to everybody else in the community. We're disappointed that those who we have trusted and voted in to be sitting here as board members, have not chosen to advocate for our students. Disturbed how taxpayer dollars are mismanaged and how not only it hurts teachers, but more importantly, it hurts our children. The way the district spends money disgusts me. As great as Midlothian is, it is not as affluent as other communities. We don't have money to be spending on administrators that teachers do not trust, and that the community does not even know what they do. Even your FOIA officer could not say what Hollingsworth product was. Midlothian is home to people who help each other, rely on each other, and actually work for a living. Do you really care for the community and the future of our students, or are we just a means to a salary? These teachers, when they go home, they're proud of the work that they do. Are you? Shame on the Board of Education. We have trusted you and you have let us down. Those who are responsible for our spending should do the right thing and resign. None of us should hold it against you. We wish for you to do the right thing and just hold yourselves accountable.
The board would like to call Mr. Ryan Vanderweel up to the microphone.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Vanderweel, and I'll be speaking tonight as a private citizen. You heard the district's best PR response to the lack of transparency. Regardless of what numbers were moved around on a spreadsheet, the school board was not transparent. The fact stands that the community and even the district's own staff did not know Hollingsworth was brought on as associate superintendent because the board bundled him under approval of contracts for non-collectively bargained employees when all other district administrators and even building administrators are mentioned by name down to the assistant principal level. Dr. Crotty mentioned no social studies teachers were fired. While at this time this is true, 3 social studies teachers were told not to return next year. I just want to state that for clarity's sake, as the PR experts our district consults are very good. As a final point before I move on to the speech I prepared in advance, I just want to draw attention to Dr. Crotty's raise last year. If we are in such a fiscal crisis, we shouldn't be giving 5-digit raises to upper administration. I'd like to begin by saying that I have respect for everyone here as individuals, including those of you whose actions that I will sharply criticize. None of you deserve to be personally attacked or harassed. With that said, I'm here for a reason and have some very strong critiques. We are currently witnessing a policy shift where social studies instruction is being outsourced to our district's fantastic literacy, math, and science teachers. But that's just it. They are experts in their content areas. They didn't go to school for the purpose of teaching social studies. The district is going to tell you that social studies will continue to be taught by highly qualified teachers. What they will not tell you is that qualified, in their eyes, means having taken at least 2 classes in any social studies area in college. Geography 101 and History 101 would qualify. When my union president brought this up to our assistant superintendent, she said that the response from the district was, she said that the response from the district would that they would be supporting students with workbooks and every teacher with a teacher's manual. Workbooks do not replace the extra efforts that social studies teachers go through to make social studies real to students. My coworker, Mrs. Pystek, brings in historical records from her own family. This is her great-grandfather's immigration card from Ellis Island. Can workbooks and teachers' manuals replace that? Let's correct the record. The superintendent claimed on social media that there are 4 junior high social studies teachers. The real number is 7. Missing 3 entire positions in a public statement proves a staggering disconnect between the district office and our actual classrooms. These files that were obtained from a FOIA request about former Superintendent Michael Hollingsworth have been making the rounds online. The administration claims cuts are necessary, yet they found $360,000 and $250 for a former superintendent's associate contract after we believed he retired. And the Board of Education buried this in the board minutes as approving contracts for non-collectively bargained employees instead of writing his name. He was the district's highest paid employee. Shame on you all for your lack of transparency to the public. They claim he was advising the transition, but the FOIA produced only 7 emails for the entire year between him and Dr. Crotty, paying so much for what is apparently so little as a breach of public trust. Speaking of which, it is a strange coincidence that as the community begins to ask questions about $360,000 contracts, 4 years of public board minutes suddenly vanish from the district website. Again, what a coincidence. And say what you want about Hollingsworth, at least he kept this district financially afloat. He would always brag about our surplus. Now we are hearing word the district's rainy day fund will be down to less than 1 month of operating expenses in less than 5 years. How then do we afford these administrative raises and payments to former superintendents whose work product was questionable, when the district soon would be struggling to keep the lights on should we stop receiving revenue? How could we have afforded to pay $15,000 a year for Mr. Hollingsworth's fancy truck when he was superintendent and $33,000 for travel in his final year? I want to be clear, his old contract says he could keep the money if he does not use it for his automobile or for his personal health. He gets to keep it as regular ordinary income or put it in his 403B. Midlothian is only 3 square miles long. We don't need that big of a travel allowance. Look at these residents in the eye and tell them that's necessary. Again, shame on you all. The truth does not require permission to be spoken. Whether I am in a classroom or anywhere else, my commitment to the students and the families of this district remain unchanged. It is time for this board to decide who they represent. I am now openly calling for the resignations of all board members and district administrators present at the May of 2022 board meeting who were involved in the approval of Mr. Hollingsworth's sweetheart deal to become associate superintendent, which impacts and will continue to impact this district, its students, and its residents for years to come. Thank you for your time.
The board would like to call Joshua Chapin to the microphone.
Good evening, folks. My name is Joshua Donato Chapin. I attended Springfield School from kindergarten to 6th grade, Central Park between 7th and 8th grade, and I'm a current sophomore at Bremen High School. I would like to start off by saying that given the current political climate in the United States, the Social Studies Department is crucial in providing education to students and their families on constitutional rights and the history of the United States. As of right now, our country is comparable to the 1960s in terms of social division, with recent acts of political violence being some of the most notable in United States history. Educating people on United States history also fosters a sense of belonging and shared status as Americans, regardless of race, religion, color, creed, effectively united students with a common identity. I would like to begin with some of my 7th grade experiences, personal experience. With the removal of the Social Studies Department, I'd like to ask the board how exactly you plan to teach the social studies in terms of the Constitution test, which I vividly remember taking up over a month of instruction. Additionally, we struggled to complete a lot of our instruction in a lot of other classes, so if you want to try to integrate both of those, you're not going to finish either, and that just adds to more trouble. Additionally, how does the school board plan to teach the American Revolution and the power and importance of the values this nation was founded upon? And I'd like to congratulate Mr. Vanderbilt for doing an exemplary job teaching 7th grade social studies, explaining complicated concepts. I'd like to proceed to 8th grade. With the removal of the Social Studies Department, how does the school board plan to effectively teach slavery, the American Civil War, Reconstruction, World War I, and World War II, which are the most important moments in all of American history? I'd like to recognize Ms. Pystead by providing an engaging conversation, focusing a lot of her units on actual review of historical documents from that period of study, providing a unique window into that time in history. She also conducted various days where she would have veterans come into our class, in which they would tell stories, answer questions, and provide a first-hand account of the very U.S. history we were being taught about from a soldier's perspective. Personally, this was extremely eye-opening. I would like to also say that Ms. Pystek is an exceptional teacher, and removing her, as well as Mr. Vanderbilt from the Social Studies Department, would tarnish the education quality of students at Central Park for a generation. I'd like to move on to the questions that you guys are being asked as a community. I'd like to say, what is the purpose of dismantling the Social Studies Department? If it is because of a funding issue, then why did the school board employ formerly retired Superintendent Hollingsworth and pay him over $250,000 per year, which, mind you, ended up being around $80,000 more than the superintendent at the time was paid, simply for playing a role that appears to be almost exclusively advisory? Not to mention the employment contract for the position of Associate Superintendent, which I have right here, is a whopping 2 pages long and lists more about pay stipulations than it does in official duties. If anyone would like to see this, please see me. It lists, like I said, 0 responsibilities or jobs. It seems to me that as a district, you do not have a funding problem, you have a spending problem. And as a result of As a result of that problem, you are depriving the students you entrusted with the responsibility of serving a proper education. I'd like to also ask, why did the school board engage in a blatant cover-up operation against 2 teachers who brought this situation to light, passive-aggressively giving them the opportunity to delete their social media posts about the issue or face termination? Additionally, in the further interest of your financial comments, I would like to say that if you have to cut essential student programs to return to normalcy, then you have other problems. I would say you have to look at the coin purse and not the classroom. In conclusion, I would like every member of the school board that is currently present to acknowledge the fact that you are destroying the livelihood of invaluable educators who have and continue to be a force for good despite the coordinated attacks on their employment. On behalf of my fellow students and the communities you claim to serve but have failed time and time again, I respectfully ask any board member that have any hand whatsoever in the blatant failure of leadership of this school district and that may want to preserve their dignity to resign.
Well done.
The board calls Jason Pilney up to the microphone.
Hello. My name is Jason Pilney. I was a student at Springfield from kindergarten to 6th grade. I was a student at Central Park from 7th to 8th, and the valedictorian of the class of 2020. I feel as though that gives me one of the more important voices for students as to why the dismantling of the Social Studies Department is such a horrible idea. Education in America, unfortunately, is declining. And in the state of Illinois, on the official Illinois State Board of Education, they've had to expand what it means to be considered passing. Why would dismantling the Social Studies Department fix that? All it would do is harm it. We're already in a decline. Why are you making it worse? The behavior from leadership over this incident has been crude at best. There have been obvious attempts to undermine the teachers and try to just give them an opportunity to hush. It's truly disgusting. The historical importance of what's taught in 7th and 8th grade social studies is some of the biggest that there is. I mean, it's what sets up everything. It sets up every AP class that is in Bremen High School where I attend. Stuff like the American Revolution, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, all of these things which have such deeper meaning nowadays than ever before are now just going to be taught in a textbook and gone over. I mean, for Christ's sake, my best friend talked about the Constitution test. The Constitution is one of the most important papers in American history. We spent over a month learning about it, studying it, understanding every minute detail of it, and now it's just been degraded down to a textbook. Horrible. The lack of transparency from the board has been honestly astonishing. I learned about this incident from a Facebook post from one of the teachers. Not the board making an official statement with official reasonings. You guys had stayed silent until the public outcry had gotten too loud that you simply could not ignore it. Social studies teachers, of which were most affecting, have had a profound experience on where I decided to go in high school. I am in AP classes. I was one of only 8 students in all of District 223 to have scored a perfect score on the AP Human Geography test. That is impossible. They were the reason why I wanted to take those classes. They were the reason why I had this drive to learn about our history, about geography, about social studies in general. I mean, for Christ's sake, Mr. Vanderweel bring in Native American artifact replicas to help teach us about the history. Ms. Pystack had an entire family tree on the side of her wall to help correlate what we learned in her classes. You saw the documents from Ellis Island. This is stuff that cannot be brought in a textbook. No piece of paper is going to be able to give you depth. You claim it's a spending issue. Sorry, correction, a money issue. It's not just a money issue, it's a spending issue. You cannot control how much you spend. There is additions going on at Spalding, at Springfield, and although I'm partial to Springfield, as I have been there for 6 years, why are we adding these additions if now, all of a sudden, we cannot afford to have these classes? Give short. It is evident by your actions that leadership is not responsible with taxpayer money. 57.5% of property taxes go to public schools, and now you're saying that you cannot afford these classes. You are scamming the parents out of the education that they pay for. And instead of trying to make beneficial choices that can further the education of the students in this district, you undermine your teachers and students whilst performing a borderline scam to cheat them out of the education that their parents pay. I call upon all of you to look at yourselves and others to see if you really have the best intentions for the children that you oversee, their parents, and the community as a whole. If this board does not course correct within a decade, I say, this district will succumb to their own reckless decisions, financially and with their choices. I hope you see it to resign.
The board calls Jennifer Matos to the microphone.
Hello, I am Jennifer Matos, and I have 2 children in the school district, and I am also an educator in a neighboring district, and I've been an educator for 17 years. So I'm here kind of serving double duty. The one thing I want to bring up is our strategic planning committee that I was very gracious and eager to join and be a part of. However, after analyzing our goals that are on the district website, we are failing. We only not passing in 8 out of 13 of our goals. So right now, this is my opinion, we have a 38% passing rate. No child will pass with a 38% passing rate. Okay, I'm going to go through them. First one, recruit and retain excellent staff. Strengthen staff satisfaction and effectiveness. I don't understand how laying off and dismantling things is going to improve staff satisfaction. It is only going to ruin it. Second one, support every student for success. Strengthen instructional practices and targeted supports for diverse students' needs. Taking away intervention specialists and taking away coaches, that completely negates that very goal right there. Improve communication, consistently communicate. I appreciate the address that we got tonight. That would have been amazing if it was put on the district website when all this stuff started coming around, so people didn't have to sit here and speculate what's been going on for the past few weeks. Then, utilize clear communication, same thing that I said, building and carrying a culture and fostering an inclusive community, solicit and encourage staff voice. That should say only when allowed, because 2 teachers here solicited and used their voice on a personal Facebook page, yet they were walked out of the class and silencing them is only when it approves for you guys, is what you should say in here. And I take personal offense to this because I sat on this committee and my name is on this and it is on the district website, and we are not following this at all. And then the last one, spend money wisely. As we've heard, that's not happening with certain contracts, and optimize class sizes. Last year there was 29 kindergartners in the classes at Springfield. They didn't put to hire a new teacher and bring those class sizes down. I do not, as a teacher, I don't want to be stuck with 29, 5, and 6-year-olds who some have never been to school before. So all I'm asking for is to bring some accountability to this, that we all of us that were on this committee, every one of you up here, and many people I see in the stands today, bring some accountability to yourselves and bring this score up, because right now, a 38% is not passing. Thank you.
Superintendent was given all that money. You kind of explained it, but for people who don't understand what the investment was, it really means nothing. Especially since you kind of tried to hide it. You weren't upfront about it. You didn't put it on the website what you were doing. And I'm just wondering, as an associate superintendent, we can't even get on and look. How many of these meetings did he attend that year? Does anyone even have an answer to that question? We would, but you guys erased the minutes off the district website. Okay? So, Dr. Crotty mentioned that enrollment is down. So if enrollment is down, why is that only affecting the teachers? What's going on with the admin? Do we need 10 admin people to run the school? We have coaches, and then we have an admin person running the coaches, and then we have another admin person running the person who runs the coaches. At some point, we're getting critical things, critical teachers, getting rid of teachers for what? A $30,000 a year raise? That's unbelievable. Somebody commented on Facebook, a school should be run like a business. Well, let's say it is run like a business. What's the goal? Did you meet those projected goals? Look at the school report card. And yes, it is not all about the test. But look at the report card. It's showing that we're not meeting goals. We're not even meeting the basic Illinois goal. So how are we getting people $30,000 a year raises? How are we cutting classroom content? How are we pulling educators out of the classroom during teacher time to reprimand them? Okay, and I just have 2 more things that I really want to say. Teachers wear many hats. They really do. And so much is expected from them right now. And it just got worse with the social media craze. It got worse with COVID. And expecting a math teacher now to come in and bring history alive for students is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Education. Do you know how many classes I took to get that degree in history? A lot. It wasn't one. So So to say that a math teacher with maybe 3 classes in history could do the same thing that this teacher over here does, and obviously that teacher over there does not make any sense. It's not true, and you're lying to yourselves saying that. And I'm sure the math teacher is awesome, right? But it's not a history teacher. And I think that we really need to think about that. Enrollment's down. Instead of getting rid of teachers, get rid of some of your admin. You don't need all these admin. Dr. Connie, you talked about all the districts around here. They're all way too admin heavy. And I've been around, I know. They're all way too admin heavy. We don't need all these admins. We need teachers. We need interventionists. Let's get those scores up. Okay? That's it.
The board would like to call Evan Labels.
This one's a little shorter than the rest, but it's okay. Good evening. My name is Evan, as some of you may know, and I am currently in my freshman year of high school. This means that 1 year ago, I attended Central Park Elementary. Slowly seeing changes being implemented to that school, my final year was possibly the saddest thing I saw. While these changes not only hindered the next generation's learning experience tenfold, never in my 14 years would I think that you would gut the entirety of what I felt were the most important classes I took in my 7 years of attending that school. Not only are you prioritizing money over the next generation, which is what you people wholeheartedly claim you fight for, but you are putting good people out of jobs in an economy where gas is $3.60 a gallon. The reason why I refer to gas, of all things, is because the only thing you seem to care about is the dollar sign and what comes after. At what expense do our younger generation, who needs these models and these important classes, without Mr. Vanderbilt's 7th grade social studies class, I would have never passed my constitution test. Without Ms. Pisek's 8th grade social studies class, I would have never survived human geography. Without Ms. Sibley's Spanish class, I would have been clueless at family parties. All of these people I just named, and many more who I didn't name, you are gutting out of their jobs. There's a good person in everyone, but you have to cut that out of yourselves for a few extra dollars.
The board calls Juliana Del
Hi. Good evening. I'm Juliana Delgadillo, and I'm in the 8th grade at Central Park, and I think it's ridiculous with what's happening with the social studies and Spanish departments in the district. I love social studies and learning about our country's history, and it's Ms. Pisek and Mr. V is also the reason why I'm taking AP, Human Geography, and French. I also love hearing about my culture and Spanish class with Ms. Sibley and learning the language I grew up hearing and talking. But letting go of the Spanish and social studies classes and not having a place to go learn is insane. Learning out of a textbook does nothing to us. How do you expect us to learn about the Constitution, one of the biggest units and tests we have to pass to graduate out of a book? None of the teachers that will be left for our junior high specialize in social studies, and they won't help us learn anything. It's teachers like Ms. Pisek and Mr. Vanderweel that make learning about history fun. Spanish being turned into a special is insane as well. Ms. Sibley is such an incredible teacher, and I love you. I love all of you, sorry. And learning Spanish comes with great benefits. It helps us connect with other people, and overall, it's a great skill to have. It helps with job applications in the future, being bilingual and learning to talk to other people. Not having it all year round is stupid and kind of infuriating. How do you expect us to believe that you don't have enough money or students to keep these teachers in their positions when your superintendents are being paid close to $400,000 a year? On the Midlothian page, the amount of money they were making was leaked. The superintendents are making 339% higher than normal and 326% higher than median in the district. Why give that much money to them when we could use it to keep our teachers in the classes? Them being paid more than needed is crazy. The teachers deserve to be paid more, and it's unfair. The teachers do so much more for us and actually care about our well-being, while the superintendent has done to us is buy us TVs and a new bell system. New lights and paintings doesn't do anything to us students. We could be using that money on our teachers so they get the money they deserve or not. The teachers deserve to keep their positions and make the money they deserve and keep their jobs and their positions. Thank you.
The board calls Jacob Semeny or Chemeny, I apologize. To the microphone.
Hi there, my name is Jacob Chimney. I am a senior at Reconvince High School, and I attended Kolmar Elementary all my life until 8th grade. I will also be speaking at the ISBE Student Voices Summit in Springfield, Illinois this upcoming Friday to talk about laws regarding in school, so I think I am very qualified to speak on this matter. I also will be attending Illinois State University in the fall to become a history teacher, which makes me even more qualified to talk about it. I want to take a second back to look back at my 7th and 8th grade. No longer works here, but I had a teacher named Mr. Hemer, and he was the most engaging teacher I've ever had. And without him, I would have not wanted to be a history teacher myself. I say that because with you taking away history teachers from their job positions and putting English, math, or science teachers, you take away the opportunity for teachers to engage with their students. I'm not saying English teachers don't engage, but I don't think they would engage in the same way that a social studies teacher would. That's all I have to say.
This concludes our public comment session.
Excuse me, I didn't have a chance to sign my name because I have a little trouble getting around these days and getting places early. May I just ask a quick question? As a former cheerleader, I assume you can all hear me. Quick question from Mrs. Mary Donna Filio Shaw, permanent resident of Midlothian. I can't get out of town. 65 years in this town. What I want to know is, you want the social studies teachers to not, okay, let me start over. You want a math teacher to teach social studies. No. Well, why don't you have, pardon? Yes? Okay. Why don't you have a social studies teacher teach math?
Could I ask you to come up to the microphone?
Sure.
Thank you.
Takes a minute. It takes an extra minute. Thank you. And I am standing on this tall. No, I'm good. Thank you, sweetie. Well, I'm not this tall. Okay. Mary Donna Filio Shaw, longtime resident, complete lifetime resident here in Midlothian. And I only recently became aware of all of this. And I got here late because it's harder to get out of the house. I apologize. My quick question is, why don't we have a math teacher? We're going to have a math teacher teach social studies. Why don't we have a social studies teacher teach math? Why don't we have a science teacher teach math? I don't understand why a math teacher can teach social studies and a science teacher can teach social studies. I just don't understand that. They're all specialties. The social studies teachers have studied for years, as have the math teachers, as has the science teachers. And I apologize if I'm missing any other areas. Those are the only three I could think of and I did not prepare. Literacy. Oh my gosh. You gotta be able to read, you have to be able to speak. You're not even gonna get to high school if you can't do that. So please consider that if you're gonna have a science teacher teach social studies, or a math teacher or a literacy teacher teach social studies, I don't understand what specialty they have that allows them to teach social studies. My family has for years been historians. Both of my parents served in World War II. We are immensely proud of that fact. My father was in the Pacific, and my mother served stateside. We have mementos that my sister, who taught social studies for many, many years at a Catholic school, she brought into school. I brought those into Brennan High School when I attended there, okay? Social studies is hard. Math is hard. Science is hard. Literacy is the most difficult, maybe. And I've used more than my time. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I feel very strongly about this. Hey, if you want me to come in and volunteer, I'm there. And I can speak more slowly with children. Thank you.
Okay, this concludes our public comment session. Thank you all for your valuable input today. Your perspectives are important to us. We will take your comments into consideration as we move forward with our agenda. We will now move on to finance.
I would like to ask for a motion to approve District 143 February 2026 bills payable in the amount totaling $1,679,408.96.
May I have a motion to approve the District 143 February 2026 bills payable in an amount totaling $1,679,408.96 as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent?
Grant.
Second, Morocco.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Grant? Aye. Mr. LaRocco?
Aye.
Mrs. Alvarez? Aye. Secretary Hugel? Aye. Vice President Kyleman? Aye. President Innocenti?
Aye.
Thank you.
I would like to ask for a motion to approve the request for a donation of $2,000 to sponsor 4 Kolmar Student Council students and 4 Central Park Student Council students to attend the IAJHSC Summer Leadership Camp at a cost of $500 per student.
May I have a motion to approve the request for the donation of $2,000 to sponsor 4 Kolmar Student Council students and 4 Central Park Student Council students to attend the IAJHSC Summer Leadership Camp at a cost of $500 per student as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent?
Second, Kyleman.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Secretary Hugel?
Aye.
Vice President Kyleman?
Aye.
Mrs. Alvarez? Aye. Mrs. Grant? Aye. Mr. LaRocco?
Aye.
President Innocenti?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we had 4 FOIA requests, all of which were complied with within the appropriate time frame. Within your board packet, on the purple page, there is a list of all bereavement and donations. All of the bereavement, or all but one of the purchases were for bereavement, and then we had one get well wish sent to an employee. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Galvin for an update on this building construction project.
Hello, everyone. At the building, we had the roofs all completed on the lower levels. Put the mic up. Hello? So at the addition, all the roofs on the lower levels are done. They have to still do the high roof on the multi-purpose room. The electricians are continuing to pull conduit and wire through the addition. The mechanical contractor
Thank you. Just to be clear, this is not our project. It is Eisenhower Cooperative's project, construction project, which is being built onto one of our buildings. On to personnel matters. I would ask for a motion to approve the acceptance of the letter of retirement of employee A.
May I have a motion to approve the acceptance of the letter of retirement of employee A as recommended by the superintendent?
So moved, Grant. Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Grant? Aye. Mrs. Alvarez? Aye. Mr. LaRocco? Aye. Secretary Hugel? Aye. Vice President Kyleman? Aye. President Innocenti?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'd ask for a motion to approve the acceptance of the letter of retirement of employee B.
May I have a motion to approve the acceptance of the letter of retirement of employee B as recommended by the superintendent?
Second, Kyleman.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. LaRocco? Aye. Vice President Kyleman?
Aye.
Mrs. Alvarez? Aye. Mrs. Grant? Aye. Secretary Hugel? Aye. President Innocenti?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, I ask for a motion to approve the acceptance of resignation of employees C through H.
May I have a motion to approve the acceptance of resignation of employees C through H as recommended by the superintendent?
So moved, Alvarez. Second, Grant.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Alvarez? Aye. Mrs. Grant? Aye. Mr. LaRocco? Aye. Secretary Hugel? Aye. Vice President Kyleman?
Aye.
President Innocenti?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, I would ask for a motion to approve the resolution authorizing notice of honorable dismissal to non-tenured teachers.
May I have a motion to approve the resolution authorizing notice of honorable dismissal to non-tenured teachers as recommended by the superintendent?
So moved, Kyleman. Second, Hugel.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Vice President Kyleman?
Aye.
Secretary Hugel? Mrs. Alvarez? Aye. Mrs. Grant? Aye. Mr. LaRocco? Aye. President Innocenti?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now on to curriculum.
In your packet, you'll notice that there's the 26-27 wall calendar. So this is an easier format for you to look through. I know I submitted the calendar when it was approved. This is what will be going out to all of our families at the beginning of the school year. It has all of our important phone numbers and information for the community. It also is the calendar we hope people put on their refrigerators, so they know when we have days off, and it helps with managing our schedules. So that is in there for your perusal. We also have our February 2026 enrollment. In your enrollment, you'll notice that it's very similar to last year. We are up 7 students, K-8 from this time last year, and we have 15 little pre-Kers in addition to our school year this year. So that is our enrollment, and then we have our amazing news and notes. So if did they already go there? Oh, we're going to ask our administrators to come up, and in our packet we have amazing news and notes about our schools, and let's see who's first. We have Springfield first, Mr. Nolan. We have our first grade Olympics.
Our first grade teachers were able to provide a pretty unique experience for students in first grade over at Springfield School. They combined the passion and enthusiasm in the Olympics with measurement and data. So our students were able to go through some of the different exciting events, including the bobsled, which was really cool to see first graders doing in the hallway of the school, to really gain some excitement and use that enthusiasm for sports and a love for learning and combine them together. So that was the first thing for Springfield. And then on the opposite side of that, give a shout out to Laura Reiner and the STEM team for putting on the amazing STEM night at Springfield School. We had over 25 families that were in for that event, which was hosted Wednesday, February 18th, also Ash Wednesday, and that ended up being something that students were able to move between stations, showcase the different prowess in the STEM to the families that were there. In addition to that, they were also able to take home little marshmallow craft, and the students really enjoyed that. So again, thank you, Ms. Reiner, for putting that on, and that was STEM night at Springfield School.
Thank you, Mr. Nolan. And we have Ms. Lynch to talk to us about Spalding, Little Hearts and Big Moves.
I
I wish I could put these pictures up for you all because they're the cutest things. But at Spalding, we had our Valentine's Day dance for our second year in a row. But we decided to move it to after school to include families and siblings. So it was really fun because a lot of our little friends got to see their friends who went to kindergarten. There was so much dancing. There was lots of music requests. We had a tattoo station. It was just lots of fun for everybody, for the whole family. And I wish you could see the pictures because we even had some like little love connections on the floor. So we might see them at their future junior high dances. And then we also had Wild About Reptiles. So our Best Start program, which is our birth to 3 program, and our pre-K enjoyed an exciting reptile show presented by Crosstown Exotics. If you ever need them for anything, they were fantastic. So our students learned about all different types of reptiles. They had the opportunity to see them up close. We had some bugs, which I did not like. We had some frogs, some snakes. We had a couple of dropped animals, but nothing escaped in the school, so we were all good. But it was a really fun experience for our students and their families. Is that giant snake named Banana? Is that still Banana? I forget, but he was on the show Empire. That was like the claim to fame, or in the magazine for it or something. But yeah, I like it. Thank you, Status. And we have Miss Andrea from Kolmar talking about our 100th day of school.
You're gonna have to raise this, Mr. Lachman. Once again, Kolmar's had a successful 100th day. Mrs. Cirillo worked with our community ambassadors to plan, organize, and lead our 100-day event for our kindergarten and first grade students. We had cup stacking, crown making, dotting, and an activity where students did 10 jumping jacks, 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups, all the way to 100, and they really enjoyed it. Our kindergarten teachers dressed up as if they were 100, and just a fun event for our students, but also really led by our community ambassadors. So those students that were here tonight, that will be Kolmar students from Springfield School, we really look forward to having them as part of our community ambassadors and having another 100th day for our 100 kindergarten and first grade students.
Love the 100-day kindergarten outfits. Those are amazing. And it looks like we have a duo. Mr. Lockenbach and Mrs. Hamilton are going to talk about Student Empowerment Workshop.
Our students in 6th grade were given an opportunity to connect with other surrounding students. The superintendent of District 122 wanted to bring 10 6th grade students together from each of our junior highs and work on their leadership qualities. And this was an opportunity for our students to connect with other schools. Sometimes they don't get to see those kids, but it was an opportunity for them to connect with each other and build on their leadership qualities.
As you heard tonight across the district, there are many opportunities for students to be in leadership positions. This was just another opportunity to add to that list. So at the workshop, they were able to work on collaboration, communication, problem solving, standing up for others, reflection and goal setting, and positive leadership actions. The staff representatives that helped them were Mrs. O'Leary and Mrs. Lernerberg. Thank you.
And Mrs. Burke will talk about our Living History Museum.
At the end of February, Central Park held a Black History Month Living History Museum to celebrate the culmination of our celebration for Black History Month. Students were invited to join this event to teach us about and honor famous African American leaders. Students created informational posters, did all of this at home with the help of their parents. They dressed up as famous Black leaders and presented to many students, families, and staff that came to see them. I also wish I could show you the pictures. We had Muhammad Ali present, Michael Jackson, we had Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Simone Biles. It was a great event at our school.
Thank you to all of our buildings for putting on such amazing activities for our students and sharing with them at board meeting. It is kind of the highlight of our meeting when we get to hear and see what our schools are doing and see all these amazing pictures, so thank you. I would ask for a motion to approve the suspensions of students in categories 1, 3, 9, 11, 14, and 23.
May I have a motion to approve the suspensions of students in categories 1, 3, 9, 11, 14, and 23 as recommended by the superintendent?
So moved. Grant.
Second, Morocco.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Grant? Aye. Mr. LaRocco?
Aye.
Mrs. Alvarez? Aye. Secretary Hugel? Aye. Vice President Kyleman? Aye. President Innocenti?
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, we have all of our upcoming events listed. Lots of things going on in March here, not to be missed. We have recognition of students and honor lunches. We have boogie nights going on. We have the Chicagoland Classic Band event. Best Start is having Dad's Night. And don't forget about our preschool screenings, spread the word. We will be on spring break the week of March 23rd through the 27th and return to Family Glow Night here at Kolmar. We will also be out for Good Friday and Easter Monday, and please also pass around April 7th through 10th. We will be having kindergarten registration. Don't miss out on Family Fun Night on April 9th, and please mark your calendars for April 11th for our community craft fair. I have no other reports.
Okay, no superintendent reports. Any other business? Okay. Items for future agendas.
We will have the general education transportation contract for fiscal year 27, as well as our food service contract for fiscal year 27 as well.
May I have a motion to adjourn to executive session?